as you know, we both compete, and we've taken a lot of underground stuff.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, at some points, the quality suffers. So
Most points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you coming on BioXL as an athlete, how do you feel the pharmaceutical actual prescribed stuff is different from the underground stuff?
You nailed it. Quality is the number one. But the main thing is I'm comfortable now. Like, I don't have to spend extra money testing to make sure that what I'm getting is what I'm getting. I don't have to worry that my shoulder or my glute or whatever it is going to turn into something twice the size.
Right.
And I'm going to have to walk with a limp or whatever because it's like, because I got some bunk, super acidic, whatever it is.
I know.
I don't really have to worry that I'm going to get an infection.
Right.
I just feel more confident and comfortable with taking this stuff because I know it's clean. I know it's good. It's not as... And I know it's what it's supposed to be. It's
right.
It's regulated.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest things that, like, when people ask, when they come here and they're like, hey, I'm taking SUS 250 or SIP 300.
Right.
And start thinking in your head, you're like, okay, buddy. Yeah. And, I don't think people understand that pharmaceutical grade testosterone only comes in 200 milligrams.
Yeah.
That's the only version it comes in. So when you get these other brands for the underground, sector, like 300, 400, like super test, like you hear all this shit.
400 I've heard.
Yeah, you're like, dude, that's going to...
It hurts.
Yeah, for sure.
It hurts real bad.
And I think, as you know, you've tried the Anavar oxandrolone from us.
It's amazing.
When people go like, Anavar's weak or Anavar's crap.
They're not getting Anavar.
Exactly. So that's kind of the thought process. Like, when I start to realize what we do here is, I wouldn't say better of underground, but it really is. I mean,
it is.
I try not to downplay underground stuff due to the fact that,
there's certain things you can't get
correct
through a doctor.
Correct.
So you're going to have to go through
Right.
underground. But even if you're finding, this is all for research purposes, correct. But if you're finding some of the international pharmaceutical stuff,
right,
that's always better than if your buddy made it in his bathtub.
Right.
I
agree.
It's still pharmaceutical. It's just,
right.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
And just because they put some Russian numbers on it or whatever.
The amount of tests that I've tested things with, and having to worry about, is this real or not? I mean, it sucks, man. And the money that you waste.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to ask, well, how much is tests? Oh, it's $177 a bottle.
Yeah.
Right? For 10 mil. Yeah, it's not cheap.
No.
But you know what? 10 out of 10 times you're getting testosterone.
Right.
You're getting exactly the correct amount within every cc that you pull.
Yeah, you know what you're getting. And you're not getting whatever filler or whatever thing that they cooked it with.
Yeah.
The oil is not going to react poorly, because that's the thing I've had is, I don't know what carrier oil is in whatever underground test or whatever it is that I've gotten, and I'm allergic to it. So I break out or I have an issue.
What oil do you feel like it works worse for you?
I don't know the name of it. It was the newer one. I know cottonseed oil is not great.
No, I've had a lot of problems.
Same, yeah. And then it was an MCT derived oil, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. We use grapeseed. Well, not we. The compounded pharmacy uses grapeseed.
Grapeseed's the one I found is the best for me.
Yeah. And I've never had a bad shot from the testosterone. But I have had a patient that has had.
They might be allergic to grapeseed
and
oil.
that's what they were.
Yeah.
They were. So
that's the only time you'll ever see it with this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
That. I mean, I used to get, I'm talking 10 years ago, I used to get stuff from China, and it would come with crystals in it. And it, my buddy who I got it with was like, oh, we'll just put it in the oven for a little.
Oh my God.
It worked, but it was still, I'm like, oh, now I'm putting this in me, and every shot hurt. I was walking around the gym once a week with a limp because it was I'm shooting my quad or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's twice the size. People are like, what happened to your leg? I'm like, I got hit with a baseball bat. What?
Something happened.
Yeah. No, I thankfully never had to drain it. Knock on wood, but I couldn't train legs for 10 days. Not good.
I've had a lot of issues.
Same.
Shoulders gone.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
From just a
You're
shot.
saying recently too. Oh.
Oh no. Just saying
you got the test flu.
Oh, dude, it was like the test fucking the Rona. That's how I felt. I mean, it was really bad. Like,
I've had that too.
my delts have been like the worst, but I've had times where my glute was it was like a watermelon. Like, actually, it was so elevated. I was like, yeah.
You can't see. You got to sit. Like,
Yeah, you're just,
you're driving like this with the heater on your seat.
I had one glute messed up one time and then the other quad.
Yeah.
So I couldn't bend this leg and it was like
you're like.
Yeah, you don't know what to do. You're like
crutches. I actually used a crutch once.
Really?
Yeah, in college.
So we have pharmaceutical grade stuff versus underground stuff. And I did want to kind of focus on, peptides. Mm-hmm. Within the peptide realm now, peptides are so like, honestly, I think they're overplayed now.
Yeah.
I think because it's such a specialty item that everyone's like.
Well, because there's not enough science around them yet to show most of the negatives.
Right.
That's not saying that there are negatives,
Right.
but like testosterone's been around for 50 years.
Right.
We know exactly what to look out for, all that. Because there's not that
Definitive.
plethora, there's not the definitive proof.
Right.
There's not like the stigma around it yet. It's just like, oh, there's this new pretty thing and it's going to work.
I mean, there's constantly new peptide coming out literally every week.
Right.
You told me a peptide yesterday. And I was like, what? Who?
What? Yeah. Exactly.
So that's kind of where it's at. And I think what happens into the building your stack or how building your cycle. I mean, I use IGF, you use IGF. We're speaking yesterday about it. And
be a little more consistent with that.
we, real world basis, like how does it perform within the real world? Like in hindsight, it's great to take 30 minutes before you train.
Right.
It should do X, Y, and Z, but like, what does it really do? Like, I don't know if because of the consistency thing, have felt like what it really does, or what have you noticed with IGF?
IGF, I've noticed you get your pump.
Yes.
It's almost like I've taken insulin.
Right.
It's almost like taking insulin with a bunch of carbs pre-workout.
Right.
I wouldn't say it's that extreme.
Right. Yeah.
But like my body fat's not super low, and normally to get the pump that I had yesterday,
Yeah.
I was like, oh
shit. It's good.
Like, this is some shit.
You took 30 micrograms.
I took 30 micrograms.
Okay. So that is a perfect synopsis of someone that is taking a product that it's working in a real world scenario.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to use these peptides on a paper and say it's going to do this, it's going to do that. You have to try it in order to see what works.
Right, and that's like the claims with Slew that you can take it and not do anything.
Correct.
And you're going to lose weight. I mean, like in a perfect world, that'd be great. I would sit on my couch and play Xbox and drop fat
for sure,
and just go on stage.
Yeah, I did a couple of videos on Slew, like it's exercise in a bottle, and it's really hard because on the internet you have to be careful what you say.
Right.
You're gonna get reamed. You're gonna be something. You're gonna say you're gonna slip up.
All publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, 100%. So I said exercise in a bottle, and people started saying, "Well, you still have to do." It's like, yeah, I'm not discrediting exercise, but like, it's one of the things. It's one of the benefits.
It's if you're doing 30 minutes of cardio. I mean, this is not based on any real science or math. It's just kind of a basic analogy. If you're doing 30 minutes of cardio for a month, and then you add in Slew, and you continue doing 30 minutes of cardio. Let's say you hit a plateau after that month, that plateau is going to be pushed through because 100%. You're adding more.
You're adding something.
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
It's helping. I'm not a scientist, but it's helping with the mitochondria. It's helping your body produce more, or not produce, but burn more energy.
That's all. It's literally just what it does
with the same things you're doing.
Right.
So it's it's like back in the day, be like, oh, just throw T3 in there, throw some Clen on there. It's like that.
100%.
But it's not as it's a lot healthier than just dropping T3, which is a hormone, and Clen, which is a banned bronchial dilator that elevates your.
We have albuterol.
Albuterol's not banned though.
No, it's not.
So it's healthier because the FDA knows.
They want the money. They want the fucking money.
Probably can't put that on the video.
Put it in. Who cares?
But yeah, Clen. I mean, like I've had people go to the hospital with Clen because they're too much, and that's the perk of working with a good pharmacy is albuterol is an easier way to dose.
Yeah, it is. Well, you take it twice a day, or you should at a certain point because it's like a 4 to 6 hour like kind of half life. Yeah. It stops working after a while.
But like you've gotten the Clen that's in a liquid bottle and all the shit settles to the bottom, and you're like, oh, I forgot to shake it, but I took a whole drop, and then you took instead of 20 micrograms or 40 micrograms, you took 200.
Dude,
and you're sitting there shaking, having a panic attack because that's what it causes is anxiety, and you're just like, I gotta go to the hospital.
Have you ever done injectable clenbuterol?
No,
I did that one.
terrible.
I did it one time.
Well,
My heart rate was up to, I think it was like 125, and I was watching the Dolphin game. It's not because the Dolphins suck.
you're sitting there.
Yeah, I was just sitting there.
Jesus.
So my blood pressure was like 180. Actually, I remember I couldn't stop shaking all day, and I went to bed having that feeling. You know, that like, that anxiety feeling. I lost like 7 pounds. I don't know why. I think because your heart rate was blasted all day. You're just fucking going.
Just water.
Couldn't even eat either.
Yeah.
Like that was a big thing too.
Yeah. Probably a compound of things.
But no, it's crazy when you start to take real stuff, how much less you need.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of our patients are anywhere from 200 to 400 milligrams of testosterone, and the end of ours 50. 50 is really all you need.
Yeah. You shouldn't. Unless you're trying to be Mr. Olympia, you shouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You're gonna spend a lot of money taking 100 milligrams of Anavar.
Yeah.
You know, but from here, like that's a huge thing that we try to showcase is like, you know, you get what you pay for, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Well, it's like you ever see those memes on Instagram? And it's like tattoo artists.
Yeah.
And it'll be like a $50 tattoo or a $500 tattoo.
Yeah.
And it's like my 5-year-old nephew drew the tiger on some guy's arm versus like a beautiful realistic.
Yeah.
It's like that's essentially the thing.
It's kind of what it is.
You can get it for half the price, but it ain't gonna be the same quality.
Yeah. You ever get I mean, you probably do, but typical question of like, how can I travel with this stuff? Like, you know,
Actually, I have clients that I've brought to buy themselves specifically because they wanted to travel. They didn't want to pay the extra money for the quality, but the fact that they had to do international travel or just travel in general, and they didn't want the risk, that was worth it.
Yeah, it's a huge thing.
Which is
having a script. You know, traveling internationally, you get hemmed up, you'll regret it.
Yeah. Certain countries you should not travel to, regardless of whether you have a script or not, because they will just put you. They don't give a shit if you got a script.
I think Switzerland's like that.
Yeah,
I think so.
I know there's some Asian countries that they will throw. You don't get a second.
Really,
they throw you right in.
I mean, I think going to Europe. Excuse me.
Depends. Depends on
like
where
London. If you go to London,
London's
UK, like they don't care.
They're pretty chill. London, UK, it's actually legal.
Yeah,
legal to possess. It's illegal to sell, but they can't ask you if you sell. Like there's these weird rules. Yeah. So
I wish it was like
a lot of the underground stuff that's higher quality comes from the UK because it's the regulations are a little more relaxed over there.
I actually don't wish it was like I said. I wish it was like that. I don't wish it was like that because we probably wouldn't be in business.
Yeah. I mean, you'd still, the business model would change a little bit.
For
but
sure.
You're still doctor, blood work, health, monitor. Like you're providing, even if you didn't provide the compounds, you're still providing such a good value with the maintenance and making sure that you're healthy.
Well, the blood work. I think the blood work in general, like
it's hard to read. I'm a health coach, and I struggle with reading.
Yeah,
blood
but you know, just looking at blood work in general, a lot of people just don't get it. Like I know a lot of people like. You got some people that take stuff. You're like, when'd you get a blood work? It's been a couple of years. You're like, gee, so you have
no idea?
No idea.
It's like driving your car with every light on.
I know.
But the lights don't work, so you have no fucking clue.
You're
driving with 2 flat tires. You haven't had oil change in a year.
It's true. I mean, you
don't know if where your gas level's at.
Dude, some of these
car could break down tomorrow, or you could drive it for another 100,000 miles.
Sometimes I feel like the blood work is not the all-seeing eye either.
No, you've told me to get calcium score in that cardiogram.
Calcium score echo.
I need to.
Honestly, it's a real hassle.
Yeah, and it's I don't think it's terrible, but it's one of those things where ignorance is bliss, kind of.
Yeah, I know. Well, they say the mind's stronger than the anything, right? I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck.
Listen, I believe I'm in tip-top shape, so I am
fine.
I'm good.
Me too.
I'm not going to drop dead tomorrow.
Until I'm late at night and I'm fucking by myself freaking out. But yeah, that's calcium scores, echocardiograms, keeping up on your health. I mean, if you want to do this, I think that's how you continue to stay healthy. Yeah. A healthy body will continue to respond, right?
I mean, we were in our 20s.
Yeah.
And we didn't give a shit.
I didn't do any of this.
We didn't give a shit.
No.
We just wanted to get big,
Yeah.
be lean.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for it.
Same.
I'm still trying.
But, you know, it's cool because we've known each other for 10 years.
Yeah.
So 10 years ago, we weren't doing any of this stuff.
Correct.
And now there's, you know, you realize as you get older,
Yeah.
you kind of want to be around a little longer.
Yeah.
And to do that, you got to monitor and maintain
Correct.
the engine inside. As you were saying, I cut you off a little bit.
No.
Without everything working on the inside, things don't work as good when you put them in.
100%.
So, like, if your liver's off, if your kidneys are off, if your heart's not working, if all that kind of stuff isn't in tip-top shape, you're going to get less out of it anyways.
For sure.
So, like, you know, why not make sure it's good?
I think we really started, maybe yourself, but I really started realizing that I wasn't invincible when I started just getting hurt. And then, like, it was nonstop, just constant hurt.
Yeah, I think I went through that a few years before you.
Yeah. That is true.
That's why I'm retired now.
So it's a thought process of, like, this doesn't last forever. There's bodybuilding after, there's life after bodybuilding.
I got you.
And you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in the early 20s, they don't think about that. Kind of how we did.
No, I mean,
I think that's how you grow, though, right?
But that was like that with everything.
Yeah.
You know, I was a bartender. I would drink till I couldn't see.
Right.
And then do it again the next day. And then I had one really bad experience, and it was like, oh, shit, I can't do that because I'll die or be in jail.
It's true.
And then bodybuilding's a little bit different because it's, you know, on the surface, you're, I'm healthy.
Yeah.
I'm just going to the gym. But the reality is, like, okay, I'm going to the gym to lift weight that the human body's not supposed to lift.
Correct.
I could paralyze myself with a deadlift. I'm injecting stuff that some guy made in his bathtub, maybe. Not
Sweet.
really. But, like,
Yeah, for
you know, what if a piece of the rubber from the whatever gets in my thing and I get it? There's like all kinds
I did
of.
that yesterday.
Uh-oh.
It was there. I'm going to be honest with you. I saw it, and I was just like, I've done this before.
Done it before, too. But the reality is,
You're right.
you start to think about the consequences of your actions a little more as you get older.
Hold on. Where does that rubber go?
I think your body just eats it.
I was wondering that yesterday.
Or my theory, what I like to believe is that it doesn't actually go through the needle because it's, you know, the needle's like this, and the needle's what punctured it to make it like this. And if you're using a drawing needle, then the drawing needle's like this.
Right.
And so the piece of rubber is this big, and then the needle that's going in is this big, so it can't fit. So it's just either getting jammed up like that or like that. So it's not going in. It's just getting stuck on the inside of the needle.
So I'll pretend it never
So it's not actually going in, is what I like to think.
Okay.
That's what's made me feel safe.
Yeah. I should have just.
Probably should have done. That's fine.
We'll be okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
sorry.
That's all good.